Leonidas story. This is the continuing series of what I call my shit list. It's going to be volume 4. On volume 4, this is not going to be an individual. I don't want to call this individual who we dealt with out, because I'm guessing he's just stupid. And stupidity is its own reward. But I want to point out an entire industry that made my shit list for a very good reason. And that is chiropractors. Now, I know there are a lot of people who will argue with me on this and will go to bat for chiropractors and go, hey, I had XYZ condition and my chiropractor helped me and made me feel better. I will argue that whatever it was you had, or whatever condition that worked on, you could have gotten better relief from a professional that was really suited to deal with what you had. Chiropractors are at best mid-range physical therapists who make some rather shitty claims and assumptions that are not based on science. If you do a quick search, you'll find that I think there may be one school of chiropractic that is associated with one minor college. But for the most part, for the like 99.9% most part, you can't go to college and get a degree in chiropractic. You can't get a license to be a chiropractor from a medical school or from any school that has any credibility in science. And there's a damn good reason for that. It's because what they do is not scientific, and it's just based on the fact that they have a pretty strong lobby, which is driven by money, like most lobbies are, and they lobby for laws to continue to exist. They get to do things that most people wouldn't do or couldn't do. Acupuncture has its own detractors and whatever. I don't know really enough about that to make comment on it. I can say that most people who do acupuncture go to school for quite a while to do that. Chiropractors, on the other hand, can take I think a weekend class and add acupuncture to their list of services they provide. Now, over the years, the law has stepped in and made chiropractors stop making some of the claims they make. Last I heard, they can't use the term subluxation anymore since it's not a real thing. The cracking of bones that they do has limited to no effect on how you feel. They use electrostim, which is a regular thing that doctors use. They use some other massage techniques and that sort of thing. But you can get electrostim by going to a doctor. You can get massage by going to a licensed massage therapist. Body work like that really helps. It does do good for your muscles. You can get physical therapy by going to a physical therapist who went to college and learned to do physical therapy in a scientifically valid way. Now, I guess the reason chiropractors make my shit list, normally they'd just be under the guise of any other quack that I just avoid for any reason. But I had a very personal experience with chiropractic and the damage it can do. Now, this is not dealing with the number of deaths they cause from doing neck adjustments and things that cause tears in arteries. Yeah, do an internet search for that. That's going to be pretty enlightening for you. Now, this goes back to my late wife, Linda. Throughout 2010, Linda started having some pretty severe back problems. She was working in a job for a charity that was high stress. She had more people than she could help coming in every day. We worked a lot of long hours. I would go in at night and I help her do paperwork when I wasn't working on another job, because she considered that her mission. That was her way of getting to serve humanity and getting to help. And that was something that she always felt really, really driven to do. And she was very, very devoted and very believing in alternative medicine. She thought there was, that alternative therapies were probably better. She had bought into some of the stuff that the big drug companies were hiding cures from you, that sort of thing. I'll tell you in another video why that's utterly ridiculous. Big drug companies don't do anything that doesn't have a monetary gain to it, and hiding miraculous cures has no monetary gain. But that's another video for another time. What I want to tell you about is specifically what happened with two chiropractors that Linda went to help her with her upper back pain. Now, she was getting pain in her upper back and shoulders, and sought the help first of a trusted chiropractor, someone she had went to before, and later the guy that he recommended, both of whom were very nice people. I mean, I'm sure that in their stupidity they didn't set out to kill people. But early in 2010 she started having these back problems. And when she went to these chiropractors, what they did, aside from the electrostim that they did, really didn't offer that much relief. Now, here's the problem with chiropractic and the modalities that they use. Unlike any real empirical science, it seems the basis they use is, if what I'm doing doesn't work, it's because I'm not doing enough of it. I need to do more, because I can bill for more. If I tell you what I'm doing doesn't work and you need to go to a real doctor, well, shucks, my stream of income stops. And in this case, what happened was she went to these chiropractors complaining of upper back pain, and they said, well, you need adjustments. You have bones that are out of their place, which is horse shit. And they started trying to adjust her upper back. Now, what she had was lobular breast cancer. Lobular breast cancer doesn't cause a lump. It's hard to detect. It's just a thickening back by the chest wall. And because of its location, it's very close to the lymph nodes. And pretty quickly, the breast cancer had traveled through her lymph nodes and into her upper spine. Now, these adjustments that they did were on bones that were already riddled with cancer. Not being real doctors and not using any methods that any real doctor would use to discover this sort of thing, they had no idea. And when the adjustments weren't really helping that much, they went, you know what, you need to come in for more adjustments. And what they were doing was fracturing her ribs. Now, you'd think, hey, if you're breaking somebody's ribs, you should know that. You know, any doctor that you came in and they did a treatment and then they checked afterwards to see what happened and it broke your rib, they would know. Not a chiropractor. Nah, they said, oh, well, shucks, this is still out. And so since it's out, we need to put it back in, so we need to push on it some more. And what they did was continue to fracture her ribs over and over and over. Until finally, in October of 2010, I was able to convince her to go to my doctor and have them take a look. The first x-ray they showed multiple fractures. And so that doctor, using empirical science that was made sense, asked for an MRI. When they did an MRI, they were able to see a huge number of lesions, which are tumors on the bone in her spine and in her ribs. I don't know that she'd still be alive today if we had caught this earlier. It's hard to say. Once cancer goes metastatic like that, it's tough to beat. I will say that there were months that this was growing and attaching itself to more bones and destroying more of her spine. That she kept going back to these chiropractors and they kept saying, oh, you just need more adjustments. More adjustments will help. That's what will help because you're out and we can put them back in for you and that'll help you feel better. And they didn't. But she really believed that these people were qualified, that they knew what they were talking about. Here they were able to practice. They had a license to practice chiropractic. So certainly if they were completely inept at working on the human body, they wouldn't be allowed to do this, but they are. And there was probably 6 months that went by that she was put in worse and worse pain until the pain level got to a point that I could convince her to go to a real doctor. That could have been avoided. We could have caught this cancer earlier. I can't say that for sure as to whether it would have made a difference. I think it would. I think it's totally possible. At any rate, once we got to a real doctor, they could start doing things that at least ameliorated the pain she was going through. She ended up dying of metastatic cancer. I cared for her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 14 months. And that could have all been changed. At least she wouldn't have had to go through so much pain. So chiropractors, you're on my shit list. I'll tell anybody, anytime, anywhere, what a miserable, horrible I'm not going to call you a branch of science because you don't use science. You use quackery to fool people into thinking you know what you're doing. If you are seeing a chiropractor, stop today. Go to a doctor. Doctors aren't perfect. All kinds of medical horror stories happen. I know that. but at least doctors use empirical science, and doctors can help. They can do things that at least put you on the road to recovery if that's possible. Go to a physical therapist. Go to a massage therapist. These people are professionals in their field. They use scientific methods to work on the problems you have. Avoid chiropractors like the plague that they are. If they could be disbarred, disbanded, and stopped from hurting anybody else, that would be wonderful. So chiropractors, you're on my shit list. This has been Leonidas' story. Not all of my stuff is this heavy. I am trying to tell my bizarre life story in the, I think, the most disjointed, crazy, not chronological way possible. I've got some pretty severe health issues myself, and the painkillers that I take, I have good days, I have bad days, and on my good days, or on my days when I just feel the mood, I'll put out another episode of Leonidas' story. If you're interested, if you want to follow this crazy train with me, the subscription link is down in this section down here. Please go and subscribe. If you have any questions, if you agree with me, if you don't, put them in the comments. I can't guarantee you I'll respond to you, but I'll do my damnedest. And this has been Leonidas' story. We'll see you next time.